Well, I got to bring this up again. You know, I talked about this cryptocurrency called HEX, HEX, by a guy named Richard Hart. He came in and even commented on my post, hey, I'll do a live stream with you if you want to talk about it. I'm thinking, do I really even need to go there? I've already done my research. This thing is checked off almost every single box of it, Ponzi scheme blueprint. And I'm thinking, what real good's going to come out of that? I already did my research. You are giving this person your Ethereum, and you're never getting it back, and you're getting a shit coin called HEX in exchange. That's what's paying you the CD, the interest, on your certificate of deposit. Problem is, are you depositing your ETH, and then you get that interest back plus your ETH back? No. Oh no. You're only getting HEX the entire time. It's an effing Ponzi scheme. So I watched a video, nearly 7 hours, 6-point-something-7-hour live stream. It's a 2-week-old video now. I think it was on the day HEX launched, which means my video, I think, was a few days before that when I talked about it. And it was not Roger Ver, it was Tone Vase, one guy, I think he was a lawyer, and another guy that might have been a lawyer as well, Jason something or another. So, and then Richard Hart. And I'm just kind of skipping through the video and I found the halfway point. All right, that was a good spot to go, and I watched it for like quite a while. And Tone Vase brings up a very good point. Richard, you said if you had Bitcoin at the time, you basically got an airdrop of HEX tokens, depending on how many Bitcoin you had at the snapshot when HEX is created, right? Yes. The other way to get HEX is for you to relinquish your hard-earned Ethereum to give to him, the scammer, and he takes it, keeps it, and gives you a shitcoin known as HEX back. And that's exactly what has happened. So Tone Vase has asked him, or did ask him, why didn't you just do the snapshot thing with Ethereum like you did with Bitcoin? Why did you need people to give you Ethereum? And he basically beat around the bush without really saying, well, that's our money. That's our profit. We're keeping all of it. When anybody with 2 brain cells in their head would have already figured that out. If you're relinquishing your ETH, and Richard did say at one point, what's to stop 2 people from exchanging one thing for another thing? That's all you're doing. You're exchanging one thing for another thing. And what he was talking about was ETH for his HEX coin. The problem is that I have ETH has value. Bitcoin has value. And you're asking them to give you one of the, not necessarily the first one, because remember the first one was just a snapshot with Bitcoin, but you're asking them to give you one of the 2 most famous currencies out there, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. You're asking for a top cryptocurrency in exchange for this HEX. So he's asking you for a primo cryptocurrency in exchange for some of his HEX. And you might argue, well, that's because it's an ERC20 token initially, and it's easier to just do the ETH thing because you can build in a smart contract. Okay, all right, fair enough. But there's also other cryptocurrencies that have smart contracts where you can do the same thing. Not that it matters. Those also have a value, monetary value. So I said, oh, this thing's been going on for 2 weeks now. That video I'm telling you about with Tone Vase was 2 weeks ago. I wonder what the price of HEX is doing. Just out of curiosity. So I pull up cryptocurrency, CoinMarketCap. Today, Sunday, Bitcoin's up 3.5% almost. Ethereum also 3.44%. Bitcoin Cash up nearly 5%. Litecoin 5%. Okay, it's a little bit of a green day. That's what we're seeing here. Down a Tron 10%. Bitcoin SV 3-point-something%, Monero 5%. How about Theta? Where's old Theta at? Just out of curiosity. Theta's got smashed back down on the list. That is. Where's the rank? It's 52. Theta is ranked 52. Which, by the way, speaking of Theta, a real cryptocurrency that's actually doing something. Not an effing Ponzi scheme. By the way, it's down 2% as I'm talking to you, just to be fair. but it's still nearly 10 cents. It's ranked 52 amongst all those top 100 coins. Do you remember, even when Theta was 12 and 13 cents, it's almost 10 right now. Even when it was 12 and 13 cents, it was ranked over 100, 105, 110, 115, 101, 102. Oh, got into the 90s, back up at 100. Remember that? I used to do videos on this. Even at nearly 10 cents, it's ranked 52 in the top 100 list. Isn't that amazing? Pretty amazing to me. So having said that, what is HEX doing today now that it's able to be traded? I don't know what term I could use that's worse than terrible. I don't know of anything worse than that. Like, what is worse than terrible? Whatever that is HEX right now. Down 92.19%. Yeah, 92% down. Priced in at a whopping, this is dollar value, 0.01. So 0.01 would be a penny. Bear with me. 0.01 would be a penny. This is 0.0000015. What you would have paid, because I listened to Richard talk in that video, and it sounded like an estimate, but it was a close estimate, was if you gave him ETH, which I calculated around the time, Ethereum, which today, again, just to keep you up to date with everything, Ethereum is $132. Around the time that this HEX thing happened, where you could send in your coins, Ethereum was around 150 bucks, okay? So you basically paid 1/3 of a penny, okay? So a third of 1 penny, 1 cent, is what you paid for one HEX coin, okay? 1/3 of a penny per HEX. This was my estimate of 47,100 coins, because I think he may have said 47,400 or something. He goes somewhere around there. 200 or 300 at that is not going to make any difference. So I just put in 47,100 divided by the price of the 150, or well, technically it's 0, because I put it in and it was saying if ETH was $150, you basically paid 0.0032 of a penny, right? So that would be a third, roughly, of a penny. Okay? So keep in mind, 0.00, that's only 2 decimals over, and then the 32, right? So 0032. The price today is not 00 something. It is 000015. So it didn't go over just 1 0, which would have been devastating. It went over 2 zeros. 15, final number. I told you this thing is trading on a single shitcoin exchange at the time that said, oh, we'll be the first one to list it. We'll list it. We're going to list it. And I don't even see it showing up on CoinMarketCap as that exchange anyways. I see 2 exchanges, TagZ Exchange and EtherDelta or Fork Delta. That's all I'm seeing. And all of that volume, well, not all, $544 worth was on TagZ, and the other one was at EtherDelta, $290. This thing is so Ponzi. I'm going to go ahead and make the claim right now that Richard Hart is going to be dealing with the federal government investigating him. I can assure you that that's going to happen. Because I heard him answer some things that I was curious about in the interview with Tone Vase. And then Tone asked him point blank, why do you need to collect all this ETH? Why do people have to send an ETH for this to work? And he beat it around the bush so bad, Mr. Hart. And it was like, I don't know, a while later, Tone's like, dude, you still never answered my question. Like, why do people need to do that? And he let it slip. Oh, well, I guess people aren't allowed to make profit in this great country. You guys call yourself libertarians. You're not allowed to make money. In other words, he just told you he's making money. He's keeping the ETH, the Ethereum, and he's making money with it. And allegedly, now this was back in the video, he had pulled in, I don't know the exact number of ETH, but it was in the millions of dollars already. And one of them was 12 million, and the other one was like 2 million point something that hadn't, he says it goes from this one address to this other one. If Reggie Middleton with Veritasium, who was actively out working to get his coin used on stock exchanges, such as the Jamaican Stock Exchange, we all know about that, and actually utilize his utility coin for its purpose, if he had to settle with the SEC, at least he had something that did something. Richard Hart, right? Excuse me. I think it is Richard. Yeah, Richard Hart. His big thing is, it's like a CD. It's a certificate of deposit. Here's the biggest problem. It's not a certificate of deposit to where you get back Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, some other coin that is recognizable as this thing's worth money. Instead, he creates his own coin right off the get-go that has no backing, nothing. But you might argue, well, what backing does Bitcoin have? Correct. But it's there, and it has held a value for nearly, 2009, going on 2020, 10, 11 years now. For whatever reason, it has a price. But to create a token out of thin air and say, this is what we're going to pay you in for all that ETH you gave us, and then when we pay you your quote-unquote interest, you're getting more HEX tokens. This is BitConnect all over again. We're taking your hard-earned Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we're giving you this thing called BitConnect, which, remember, BitConnect only allowed itself to be traded on its own exchange that they created. It didn't do anything else. It only traded their coin in their exchange. That's all it did. HEX, on the other hand, it's an ERC20 token from what I understand. It's tradable on a multitude of exchanges because of that ability, because of what it is. BitConnect was not. It was its own thing. But they told you, here's what the price is today, and you can go into the BitConnect website and trade out some Bitcoin for some BitConnect and all that crap. And it all blew up because they created their own coin. It was completely worthless, but they rigged the price of their coin on their own exchange, and that's why their coin got so freaking highly valuable during its peak, which I think was $200 or $300 per coin, per BitConnect. Richard Hart doesn't have his own private exchange where he can manipulate the price of HEX. So the true market conditions he loves to talk about are in fact taking place. Like he said, the market will figure out the price, and the market has figured out the price. So while everything else is in the green today, pretty much, most of the 90% of the crypto market is in the green. Not only is HEX in the red, it was down 40% last night, by the way. I checked, 40-something%. This morning, or today, or this evening, I should say, now it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's down 92%. Anyone exchanging it. Now people are going to say, oh yeah, but Joe, we're baking. We're baking these things for a month or a year or whatever we set in the system. So we have to wait until that time to really collect. Kind of like you did in BitConnect. I got to leave my money in here for a long time, never getting it out, and I get these worthless BitConnect tokens for me. But if you wait for 6 months, you'll be able to start withdrawing some of that. Oh, okay. But you got to invest $10,000 on BitConnect. Well, I don't have $10,000. Oh, well, then you're going to have to wait 9 months. Maybe a year. But that's okay because you'll be a billionaire in just 2 or 3 years. If you do the math, look at the spreadsheet, you'll be a billionaire. If you could come up with 10K and just don't touch it, leave it in the system, you'll be a billionaire. Do you know how few billionaires are in the world? There's not very many, considering the world population. And I said this then too. I said, do you really think by just dumping 10K into anything, and anybody can do it, right? Anybody can do it. If you got 10K, put it in, and we're all going to just turn into billionaires in just a few short years. because of the compounding interest. Just leave it in. But again, at least BitConnect rigged their freaking token to sky high prices. And if you got out when you could, you may have made out like a bandit. But again, I personally have an issue with that. When I know, man, this thing reeks of Ponzi. I don't want to do that. I don't want to know that there's people getting in while I'm trying to get out, man. How much time do I got? Man, I got 2 more weeks, man. 2 more weeks I can pull all my money out. While these new suckers are coming in. And I need those suckers to come in or I can't pull my money out. That's just the wrong way of thinking, my friends. And if you think like that, you're probably one of those people who got into HEX. And if you think like that, you probably deserve to get your worthless HEX. It is absolutely worthless right now. But I do hope for everyone's sake, in all honesty, for everyone who did this, because here's the thing with HEX. Most Ponzi's need new blood coming in, right? Most Ponzi's need new blood to get out. HEX, on the other hand, the tokens exist. So no matter how many new people come in and give him, Richard Hart, your hard-earned Ethereum, and he gives you back his shitcoin called HEX, you're actually getting back the HEX coin. You will get back those HEX coins, no problem. They exist. And it doesn't matter whether new people come into the Ponzi or not. That's the only difference of like a true Ponzi. You don't need new blood in Richard's thing. You're basically trading gold for a piece of paper that someone wiped their ass with. You're trading in your gold Ethereum, it's got value, for a piece of worthless paper someone wiped their ass with. But it does exist. And it can't be a Ponzi if it exists, right? So he may not get taken down as a Ponzi, but I guarantee you the Security and Exchange Commission and the feds are going to look at this as an ICO, and you took money from people with their expectations, the people's, of earning something back, profit. They would not give you money unless they want profit back. That's why everyone got into HEX. I want to earn this interest stuff, right? So they're going to have a case against this guy so easy, he's going to fold like a cheap stacked deck of cards. Stacked, as a matter of fact. I've looked into this. People wanted me to look into it. I really hate doing these videos. I don't want to have to call crap out like this. But the back part of my mind says, well, if someone searches the internet for HEX or Google, YouTube, and they don't know what you know about how these things work, it wouldn't cost you anything to just do a video. It's going to stay on the internet forever. Maybe a bunch of people will find it before they decide to throw their hard-earned ETH away into the scam coin, shitcoin called HEX. It would be a whole lot different if HEX wasn't HEX and HEX was some other crypto that actually had value and you earned that back, as opposed to this non-valued coin that the market's going to figure out about. What gives HEX its price? Why would I or you, as a bystander, not even messing with it, let me put my ETH in. I just want to go buy some HEX coins and play the market. I have to know that this thing has a good chance of going up. What are they going to be doing with this coin to make it go up? Nothing. It has no real purpose other than taking your ETH and giving you back shitcoin. That's it. But you'll get all the shitcoin it promised you. It will do that. Oh, 10,000 times gains of what? Yeah. Maybe you'll get 10,000 times the HEX. Maybe you'll get 10,000 times the HEX you thought you were getting, and they're all worthless. And even that can't happen, obviously, because there's only so many HEX, from what I understand. So, at any rate, it doesn't matter. This is a Ponzi, a sophisticated type of Ponzi that doesn't necessarily need the new guy to come in, but it's a Ponzi nonetheless. You're taking these people's money, offering them their referral fees. Oh, give me a referral bonus, which means more HEX comes out for the referral. Doesn't do anything besides referral money. That's it. This is going to go down, I think, in the history of complete pieces of garbage, shitcoin of shitcoins, in my opinion. And I don't always agree with Tone Vays, as you know. He makes these wild predictions on the price of Bitcoin, and then it goes further down than he thought, or higher, you know, whatever. He swears it won't do something, and it does it. So what? He has done a lot of research. He's looked at a lot of different Ponzi type things and shitcoins. Tone has offered some good advice on some of these things for sure. I will give him credit for that for sure. And when I saw his 6-7 hour video, I couldn't believe it was that long. I'm thinking, what could you possibly talk about for that long? And all I got was Richard Hart interrupting and interrupting and interrupting and interrupting. And even when they would talk to him, and they would say, okay, well, Richard, let me ask you this. Every 1 to 2 words that the person was saying in their sentence, you'd hear Richard, yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, just shut up. Just shut up and let them say what they have to say, and then you just get to speak. And then when you're done, they'll speak. Like, it was hard for me to listen to this. I'm like, God, for God's sakes, let the guys talk. And then when they ask you a question, you beat around the bush and take them somewhere else. And then, oh, well, Richard, bring you back. This was the question. I think Richard knows, probably after talking with Tone and them, man, I effed up. The feds are probably going to come after me. And I thought I was smarter than them because I learned from other Ponzi schemes what they got that one for, and I made this thing intertwining, weaving around all that stuff, calling this term, let's change the name of that term. I don't want to use that, we can't use that word. Let's say this is that, even though that's what that is. We'll just change the name of that word. And that's a bunch of wordsmithing is all I heard from Richard Hart. I hope you guys don't get burned. But as of right now, 92% down. Jesus Christ. You paid him 0.0032 of a penny, right? So a third of a penny for each of those. 1 Ethereum would have gotten you roughly 47,000+ of these coins, priced at a third of a penny. That was 2 zeros in the front. There's now 4 zeros in the front of that with a 1.5 at the end. Maybe if it was the 3.2 at the end, at least it would be the 3.2 at the end. It doesn't matter. There's still 4 zeros. This is horrible. Take care.